it's amazing to me some of the large customers that I work with that don't have a plan B. So I would add to that, have a plan B. And what I mean by a plan B is, well, we've been relying on this content delivery network for years. It's never gone down. And sure enough, I've actually had discussions with them where they're doing something really important, whether it's a live event or even if it's a it's on demand and things don't work. And then then they lose their jobs because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to make sure that your content is always available. So have a plan B. What does a plan B mean? Go back. Always question what you have. Not to the point where you're paranoid, but question your infrastructure. Is this going to meet the needs today, tomorrow, and 2 years from now? And present that plan to your business holders. Because I think if you're proactive about that, if somebody's coming to you asking you for that business plan of how we're going to meet the needs of where we're going to grow the business over the next 2 years, and you don't have that in your hand, you should start worrying. Because a lot of times when we're brought in, that's exactly what's happened. They didn't plan. They had this big event. It was an election. They had content they needed to provide. They had a learning management system they were trying to launch. And they thought they were going to have 20,000 active users. They ended up having 300,000 active users, and it melted their servers. Their servers just crashed. And it was a complete disaster. So I would say that's number 2. Number 3, I would say always look for perfect versus correct. I think a lot of the, especially the IT managers that we work with, and even the business decision managers I work with, they struggle with, they want the perfect system, and of course you have the limitations of budget and realities of time and resources and physics, so I'd say be careful with that one. I'd say the third thing I would say is look to always be adding value. So whatever you're going to build, whatever you're working on, doesn't matter what business you're in, I always ask somebody when they bring us in, we've got this problem, like, okay, we can solve this problem, we're going to do this, we'll put this on-prem stuff in the cloud, we'll get rid of these licensing problems. But at the same time, how are you adding value to what you're already doing? Oh, wow, I didn't think about adding value. Think about adding value. If you add value to it, when you go back to your stakeholders, you say, I've solved the problem, but I've also now, we can stream this in 4 different protocols. We can do MPEG Dash now. We didn't have that support. Or I've got high definition audio, which you didn't have as part of the video now, so that we can add that as a value add on when we're selling things. I'd say that number 3, and I would say number 4, test, test, test. Not the mic, test your stuff, because I can't tell you how many times we've been brought in and say, well, we need a testing platform. We need a way to put this in the cloud and have, like for those technical folks in the room, Docker containers that allow us to spin up VMs. We can spin this stuff out. We can do really fine-grained testing on this stuff before it goes out to production. I see that over and over again. People make that mistake.